was something I've never had happen on my zero turn that I just had happen on my Kioti CS2520S. So I'm out here mowing the horse pastures, and it's about 90 some degrees out here. And I guess the dry grass has been building up here on the deck, and it actually just caught on fire. And of course you can see some ice on there. It's because I just threw a cup of water in there. But you can see the smoke coming out of it. Well, it was, I thought I smelled a little bit of smoke, and I was like, huh, somebody's burning something, you know, whatever, and kind of smelled like a little bit of wood smoke. And then next thing you know, I look back, and it puffs out a bunch of smoke, and the grass on the deck caught on fire. And it was smoking really bad, but me being in a panic, I did not, try to grab my camera and just start videoing, because I was like, I got to get the fire out, or I got to get this grass off the mower deck and shut everything off, because I'm sure the fans and like the belts in that grass and everything was like causing the heat to build up and the fire and everything. And so I wanted to shut off the fans and anything that was blowing air into it that would, fuel the fire. And so that's what I did. So I didn't get a picture of it really, really smoking, and then I grabbed what I could and like kind of tossed it off of there. This has been kind of in the back of my mind, and I was like, I need to blow this thing off when I get back down to the house. Well, I am just a few minutes late, really. I probably only have about 20 minutes or so left to mow, in this section of pasture. And, I've been mowing for quite some time, and I've mowed a whole bunch of section around through here. And I apologize for the wind. I wasn't prepared for this. I wasn't expecting to make a video. I was just out here mowing grass. So then, this happened, and it's still smoking. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start it up. I'm going to take it down to the house, and I'm going to grab the water hose and spray all this stuff down and cool it down, because I'm sure what's still smoking is actually underneath this guard right here. That's one downfall I have to say with the Kioti. That guard is bolted on. So in order to get under there and clean it out all the time, you have to unbolt it. So it's a little inconvenient, so it kind of tends to get overlooked, or at least it does with me. And I'm sure that has grass build up around that pulley, and it just sitting there, continuing to run, and then it built up enough heat that it finally caught on fire. So I'm hoping I can get down to the house. I'll kick the tractor back on. Hopefully the fans and stuff don't try to, flame it back up. I think it's just the heat build up from the pulleys, because, as soon as I seen it smoking a lot, and I realized, for sure that it was coming from the tractor, then I hit the blade thing, I shut it off, and then the majority of the smoke went away. So I think it's just kind of smoldering a little bit. But I've never had this happen on a lawnmower, or like on a traditional lawnmower, a zero turn mower. Never had this happen, and I've had grass build up on the deck many times. But it is really hot out here today. And like I say, that guard, it's not easy to take on and off. Like, you have to actually unbolt it. And my other mowers, though, and that may be the reason why my zero turn, the Kubota Z421, had plastic guards on it, and you just squeezed them and they would unlock, and then you could pull it off. And I pulled those off all the time and cleaned grass out of them. So not that easy on the Kioti. So I got down here to the house, and I went ahead and grabbed my microphone so you can hear me better. I have to say that it's a good thing that it didn't go further and continued to be on fire. And, I had that cup of water there, so I was able to kind of I could see where most of the smoke was coming from. So I just kind of threw that on there and pretty much put it out. But if you needed to get to this in a hurry because of something like this going on, it's got 4 bolts, and they're 2 different sizes. I don't understand why they couldn't even just put the same size bolts in it. That's kind of annoying, but let me show you what's going on here. So we definitely got material build up inside that guard, And as you can see, that material caught on fire inside of it. And it actually is still smoking just a little bit, but that guard is very, you know, it's difficult to take off of there. And it's not convenient to take off. You've got two 12mm bolts and two 10mm bolts that, you know, there's the 10s right there, and then the 12s are up here on the top, which I understand why they do it, because this is a drive over deck and it needs to be solid to be able to, you know, hold the weight of the tractor. But, you know, these leaves and debris, ooh, yep, that's still hot. That stuff builds up, and they don't make it easy to, you can't blow it out with a blower because it's back inside that guard, and everything is completely sealed off behind this metal guard. Which, like I say again, I understand why they do it, because they need this thing to be solid, and it's got supports right there so that as you drive over this, then, you know, you're not damaging the deck and it's not going down, but it does make it more difficult to service. The good news here is really the fact that it looks like most of this debris, it was, you know, just hot on the outside. It didn't even get down to burn the deck. So the paint, everything on the deck is actually still good, because the debris itself actually insulated the deck from catching on fire or burning. Now, that pulley is still hot, and it doesn't look like that it hurt the belt either. So I think we're good on everything, really. But one thing I am going to do here before I go out and mow some more, I believe I'm going to get the water hose, because there's a bunch of dirt buildup and stuff here too, where, you know, like the dust and everything. I think I'm going to kind of spray that stuff out and then re-grease everything to kind of, you know, push out any water. And at least this will be a smooth surface, cleaned up again, and it won't have anything, you know, it'll be a little bit harder for debris to kind of hang up in there. But this dry grass is what happens. Like this dry grass was underneath this shield, and once you get to as hot as it is today, and you get the grass kind of packing in there around that pulley, there's just a lot of friction and builds up a lot of heat. And not only, you know, like today, it's been 6 or 7 days since it's rained. Everything is starting to really dry out. And then this really hot day, you know, it just makes it that much more. So if you were cutting wet grass, this may never catch on fire, because the grass is keeping enough moisture in there to not, you know, have that heat. So, you know, like I say, with the moisture in there, if you're mowing and it's just every day or two it rains, the grass is damp, and, you know, you're keeping that moisture in there, it may not build enough heat to do that. Or if you're mowing for short periods of time, it may never build up enough heat to actually do that. But I wanted to go ahead and actually make this video, because you know, this is a piece of information that could be pretty important to some people, because what had happened, I'd been mowing for shorter periods and like doing hour and a half, 2 hours here and there. It's not been this hot, it's not been this dry. And now I go out there and I'm mowing the pastures, and it's really hot and it's really dry, and I've been mowing for several hours. And I think just the combination of everything kind of just came together at the right moment to build enough heat and catch that stuff on fire. And luckily, you know, like I said, it was kind of, I smelled it and I was like, I smell something, you know, but I couldn't see any smoke or anything like that. And I could smell what smelled like a little bit of fresh fire leaves or something. And then it wouldn't 30 seconds later, then that's whenever I noticed that there's a big cloud of smoke coming out of the mower. So it went from just starting to being a huge cloud of smoke, and thinking that, oh gosh, I got to jump off the machine because this thing's burning down. And I knew what was going on as soon as it happened. I knew that it was buildup because I was looking at the deck as I was mowing and thinking, I need to blow the deck off, and get down to the house and blow the grass off the deck with the leaf blower. But once again, I wasn't thinking I got to take those guards off and clean out from under them because they're bolted on, and you're not thinking that you got to unbolt those things every little bit and clean that stuff out of there. So like I was saying, that's why I wanted to share this video, because on this Kioti CS2520S, and it has the drive over deck, those pulleys are covered. They're not easy to access, but it definitely could be worth your time to go ahead and clean those out, every few mowings or something. Take those covers off. Make sure you get that debris out, because it is a possibility for that debris to catch on fire that gets built up underneath those guards. It could have been a lot worse, but it didn't damage the mower. The belts and everything, actually, they don't even look like that they've been hot. They're not glazed or anything like that. So, like I said, I'll just clean this stuff out the best that I can. I'll re-grease everything, and just from now on, I'll know to try to keep that stuff cleaned out. At least every few mowings, pull them covers off, clean it out. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you got something out of it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Share it with your buddies that have Kioti CS2520s and mid-mount mowers, because this is definitely a possibility. And until next time, I'll see you outdoors.